Back with us now is Sahil Kapur, Bernard Whitman, and also Nan Hayworth. And want to dive into talking about the celebs and politics here. There'll probably be quite a few musicians making a statement tonight. So Sahil, I want to ask you, when you have that producer saying, bring it, make political statements, do you think that this is about politics or maybe relevance or ratings?
You know, I think it's certainly about the fact that we live in a political climate that has caused a lot of people to be afraid, that has galvanized a lot of people, and many of those tend to be the types that, you know, that would be at the Grammys. So I think the idea that you can really separate politics from from other aspects of life is questionable. Politics touches every walk of life. It's the air you breathe, it's your health care, it's your safety, and I think, you know, you can stop people from speaking out about that if they feel strongly about an issue. So I suspect we'll see some of that tonight as we have before. I think the question is, number one, how effective it is. As we saw with Meryl Streep's criticism of Trump at the Golden Globes, it created sort of a feedback loop on the left where it galvanized her people. Yeah. It created another one on the right where President Trump went after her and then you know, whipped up his base. The second thing is it does tend to be a problem when celebrities use their microphone, I think, to promote theories that are scientifically dubious or that are false. Things like anti-vaccination theories that require expertise that they don't have.
Well, let me bring in Nan and Bernard here when you talk about this. And you have some of these industry experts who are saying, well, you know, the Grammys seem out of touch, that the relevance there, you have those guys, Bieber, Drake, Kanye boycotting it too. Do you think in this instance they kind of want it to get political? They want people to get revved up and get angry on there just for it to be a statement at the Grammys?
No, I think the producer wants the musicians to be themselves. I mean, music has always been political, and musicians and performers channel and reflect the culture that's around them. And there's no question that Donald Trump in the past few months has stirred the passions and anger of tens of millions of Americans. Just look at the protests that continue to grow and spread across the country. I would expect to see with the likes of Lady Gaga, Katy Perry, Laverne Cox, and Beyonce for the fireworks to fly, and as well they should. I mean, the responsibility of democracy is to rise up and make sure your voice is heard, not just on Election Day, but every day.
Here's the risk they take, though, when it comes to their fans and going against that. We saw it in 2003 with the Dixie Chicks when they said that they were embarrassed to be from Texas, where George Bush is also from, and then we saw our fans and other people boycott their music. Well, so country music when it comes to that. So can we see something like that?
Based on the number of Republicans who respect into office in the last election, thanks to the efforts of Katy Perry, or despite the efforts of Katy Perry and Beyonce and Jay-Z and Adele, you know, all of whom had things to say about Trump versus Clinton. You know, I can only hope that they keep speaking up, because I think it redounds to the benefit of Republicans in a lot of ways. I think, you know, these folks live in the bubble behind the velvet rope. You know, and they've all got they've got their special protections in the tax code. If you look at page 1 of the 1040, line 24, line 26, I forget which one it is, but they actually get to write off most of their lifestyles. So when they talk about these things, they're not paying for it. Oh, and by the way, they have their armed guards, too.
So when it comes to statements being made, it's always like usually about what they wear. We've seen Lady Gaga with
hypocrisy on parade.
You're right. We've seen Lady Gaga with her meat dress. There's this dress. We're just getting, look at this. These are just the arrivals happening right now, okay, just moments ago. So can you see in her dress? I'm not quite sure who this artist is, but Make America Great Again, the dress right there.
The impact of President Trump on popular culture. You know, he is obviously...
on pop culture, we're talking about a celebrity star in that sense, as far as reality show.
That's right.
And I think
and look at the back
Trump
right there. We're just seeing the trail.
Well, there you go.
Of her gown.
Talk about trying to stand out. She clearly is probably one of the few artists on the Trump train. And I tell you, there's a lot of musicians that are going to get on stage tonight that's going to try to derail that train, and let's hope they can.
Yeah, and what do you expect to see,
Bernard?
When you say derail, what are you expecting?
Look, I mean, I think that the public protests that have sprung up in the last few months are really sort of turning into a movement, and finally are crystallizing the opposition to this president that we did not see significantly enough on the campaign trail, sadly, to Hillary Clinton's demise.
So very quickly,
all this reminds me of one thing President Obama said before he left office, which is that one of the mark of our free society is that we can criticize our president without retribution. I suspect we'll see some of that tonight.
Well, and expect to see some tweets late night for Donald Trump.
And very early
retribution via
and
Twitter.
let's see that industry open up to people who have an alternative point of view.
Yeah.
Because people who support conservative causes, whether they be fiscally conservative or socially conservative, are severely penalized in the entertainment
Well, we will
industry.
see what's going to happen. The live TV.
That's not free
They're
speech.
not- they're not
yes,
popular.
but it goes far beyond that.
Oh, we're going to have to leave it at that and watch tonight. And I'm sure the censors and the delays all having, depending on what these artists say or do or where. We will be watching. Thank you for all of you being with me in my panel.